Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. Got my workout in today, chest and back. Back was still sore from 3 days ago. So, took it light, no chin-ups, no pull-ups. Still did some lightweight dumbbell back rows, back flies. Tried doing one wide grip pull-up and yeah, I wasn't feeling that. So what am I doing to compensate for not doing as intensive a workout as I was expecting? Snowshoeing. Haven't gotten these out in like 2 years. But we had a snowstorm last night. Really bad snowstorm. To the point where my car spun out. Thankfully, there was still snow on the side of the road from previous plowing, so I didn't end up in a ditch. Got my ass out and home. But no, it's that type of weather where you either have snowshoes or there's really no point in going out and doing anything. So this generation, this new generation, Gen Z, I recently did a video regarding if you want a job, try working. Now, I've got a couple of examples of people that I have come across over the years. People that have potential, but they lack any type of motivation or willpower, any real desire to even try to do the things they claim, they say that they want to do with their lives. I worked with two brothers that came from a very privileged family. So privileged, in fact, that even though I was working with them, they, for some reason, were working in the same facility I worked at. And it didn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense because as I got to know them, one I already knew was a total computer geek. Stereotypical computer geek. Never had a girlfriend. Real skinny. Basically goes home, games all night. Hangs out on the internet, plays around with computer code. Turns out this guy has a degree in computer science. Not just like one of these IT guys that will tell you to have you tried turning it off and turning it back on? No, like this guy can actually write code and build things, and his desire was to make video games. Of course it's to make video games. It's really, I swear, like this whole IT environment has basically replaced the comic book nerds of the 1990s. Everybody wanted to draw comics. Everybody wanted to be the next Todd McFarlane. This guy wants to make video games. So instead of actually using his degree and working his way up or tinkering around with certain programs at home, no, he plays video games and makes enough to pay rent and buy food. Doesn't have any student loan debt because mommy and daddy paid for his degree. You think that's bad? Wait till you hear about his brother. So his older brother, you know, the one that's supposed to, in their culture, he's the next in line, the heir to the family. He went to medical school. This guy was a legit certified medical doctor, graduates from school, but he's living in America, and he up and decides that, well, I fulfilled my familial obligation, therefore I'm just gonna work a shit job and not do anything. I'm not making this up. Like, these two brothers, granted, their family was from a foreign country, and here's the other kicker. So their family sends them here to make sure that they have a better life, that they get a good education, that they can prosper, not just prosper, but also be useful to the world, right? And they just say no. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, this is the Kalamazoo promise to the extreme. You have this gift handed to you, and if you're familiar with the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, there's the young boy. He's got all this potential. He has the youth, he has the energy. He receives the call to do this mission, this great thing that's going to affect his life and the life of others. And at first he says no. But then the guide comes, the shaman, the priest, whatever, and says, this is your destiny, this is what you're meant to do. We don't have that in our society anymore. These kids, these I'm an adult. No, you're not acting like an adult. You're not an adult. You have this gift bestowed upon you. You could be out there saving lives. You could be working on AI. I don't know, at this point I wish he was working on AI just so he could sabotage it. I have zero hope for AI. We already have this planet, this gift, all of this around us that was handed to us by who knows what, or God knows who, ha ha ha. But all we do is F it up. And we think that AI, this great thing that we're creating, seriously, the same creature that created, I don't know, tax code and Crocs. Yeah, AI is going to be the great thing that we create. How about we learn how to not mess up the planet first? How about we do that? So, that's just two examples of people I've come across over the years. Now, when I was going to college and my semesters after the Kalamazoo Promise was created. The Kalamazoo Promise, if you're not familiar with it, is where a bunch of rich assholes in Kalamazoo decide they're going to give back to the community. No, it's a fucking tax write-off, okay? That's all that it is. It's a tax write-off for them. They get to say they're doing something great. Meanwhile, it does not fix the problem of the public schools in that city. And the main problem is that these kids are graduating from Kalamazoo Central, from Loy Norix, and they have like a third grade reading level. They can't write papers. They're not equipped to do college level courses. And I saw this time and again. These kids graduate and their parents are like, oh, you're going to college. Meanwhile, the parents didn't do shit for them when they were in high school, making sure that, I don't know, they had a high school reading level. And then they get into these classes, and I saw it firsthand, where they never even wrote a paper before. I don't know what the hell they were doing at these high schools. Granted, I went to a Catholic prep school, okay? I was the white trash kid at a Catholic prep school. Like, I did not have any of the advantages or anything either. Nobody was paying my way to college. I couldn't even get the shit I needed at home in order to do the high school level stuff that was expected of me when I was going to Hackett. But what I will say is that when I got to college, guess what? I could read the textbooks. I could write a paper. I could go down to the library and type something up and turn it in and get a decent grade on it. These kids that were being handed college to them free from this program, most of them, I saw them do like 1 or 2 semesters and they dropped out. Those are the ones that went. Now let me get to the ones that just didn't use the promise. Because that one, the ones who tried, I hope they learned something. I hope that they learned that their public school system failed them. And it really needs to be fixed. It's a broken system. No. Then there's the other ones who have this opportunity. They have 10 years after graduation to have courses in college paid for them. They could go to a trade school at these colleges, learn welding, plumbing, heating and cooling, air conditioning. That's all paid for too. There's no stipulation as to what kind of degree they can get that is paid for in this program. The program itself is not the problem. It's the kids, the education system, the fact that there's absolutely zero guidance for these kids whatsoever. So what we have going on is a bunch of kids that they graduate from high school and then they just kind of float around. There's one kid, I liked him, he was a really good guy. I don't have any bad things to say about him except for the fact that he blew it. He totally blew it. So his thing that he wanted to do, his gift was music. And he was playing jazz. He was tinkering around with these music programs at home on his computer to do recordings and tracks and stuff. And he was like, yeah, you know, music's my thing, blah, blah, blah. I wish I knew more. I'm like, but he stated in the past, and I'm like, you have the promise. Yeah, but if I go to school, like I don't know how to read music. How do I study music if I don't know how to read it? They have beginner music courses. Yeah, I don't know if I need all that. Okay, first of all, you're not Metallica, okay? And I don't know why nobody had this conversation with him, but I understand. Even Metallica did not know how to read or write music when they started. And it wasn't until one of the band members got his degree in music that they came out with Symphony and Metallica, also known as the S&M album, which I know I'm probably going to lose subscribers. I hated that album. I'm like, wow, you're just regurgitating bullshit and you're having a symphony playing behind you. It's not exactly original. You're just doing a remix. That's kind of a rap thing, not a metal thing. So this guy just refused to go to college because he would have to learn how to read music for an industry he wants to get into, where he would have to know how to read music. That's how motivated these kids are. It's free. You just have to put in the work. None of them want to work at all. I had one person comment on here on one of my latest videos, and this is why I'm making this one. People just don't want to work. The definition of work has gotten a little the R word. It's become the R word. Fill in the blank. There used to be a pride. There used to be people felt good about what they did, what they worked towards. It used to be college was something that you did in order to learn more about something you were passionate about. But now even the things that people are passionate about, or they say they're passionate about, is a burden. What? You mean I actually have to take courses to learn how to do this thing that I say I really, really want to? You don't really want to do it. That's the thing. You don't. You are too comfortable. Everything is too easy for you. When you're at the point where you figured out, wow, if I just work this part-time shit job for X amount of hours, I can pay for a room in this house, my rent is paid, I don't really mind eating ramen, and I can afford the latest video game that comes out. Or fill in the blank. And it's not just guys, it's girls too. Women are doing the same thing. These Gen Z girls, where they figure out how to take advantage of the system to the point where they are willing to work to get something for free. But if they actually have to earn something, that ain't my job. And that is where we are screwed as a society. Because the idea, the knowing that this new generation has absolutely zero motivation to accomplish anything. And these are the same people that bitch about the boomers, right? And yes, I may have a time or two bitched about the boomers as well, because I was a latchkey kid. I was raised by that generation. And while me, Generation X, can bitch about the boomers and say, well, you know, they were just kind of selfish, there's a lot of other factors that go into it. One, our economy went to shit. We had horrible economic policies that made it so that mom and dad had to work, both of them, instead of just having one person work while somebody else stayed at home. Then you've got the marriage penalty tax. Let's just call it what it is. Oh, dual income household? Yeah, we're taking more. You have all this bullshit, and that's what created Gen X, why we are the way that we are. And then you have Gen Z who's trying to say, like, everything's messed up because of the boomers. Really? How about we wait 30 years and see what you're saying about the generation you created? Because you're not creating one. You want to talk about selfish? You're not even creating a retirement plan for yourselves, you stupid assholes. You're not creating any kids. You're not dating. You're definitely not having sex. The number of Gen Z people I have met who are pushing 30 and they still haven't at all. It's astounding. Like, what happened? How much soy are they providing these kids in schools? I have no idea. Like, the guys have absolutely no sex drive whatsoever. They fear being shot down in rejection more than just wondering what happens if they don't try, right? They might actually like that girl or find her attractive. A lot of times, it's somebody that they hang out with all the time. Do they have the balls? No, they don't have the balls. Shit, they couldn't even find their balls if they looked. Hell, they thought they had a penis. They thought they had a pubic hair until they pissed out of it. That is the generation that we're looking at right now. No motivation. Shorzy could say, give your balls a tug, and they're like, where's that? What are you referring to? It's insane. I have zero hope for this generation. I don't even think a war would get them motivated to do a damn thing. We couldn't get them to fight a war unless they were stuck in some storage container somewhere, looking at a monitor, bombing the shit out of things with a drone. And then they would bitch about the hours and not having enough fucking Red Bull. That's what we're looking at. We couldn't even get them to fight a fucking drone war. These graphics are horrible. Oh my God, the lag time. Where did you get these fiber optic cables? I've got a better controller than this at home. The amount of stupidity, it just, every time I end up working with somebody from this generation, I just roll my eyes and I'm like, what level of stupid do we have here? And how much of the work am I expected to do? And if they think that I'm going to be working so that this guy gets a paycheck, oh, you are so wrong. Nope. By the end of this day, he is going to be crying and not wanting to come back because I'm going to put him in his place and tell him he needs to do his fucking job because that is what he's paid here to do, and I am not doing it for him. That happened more than once. And yes, I did end up in HR meetings, and HR was just kind of like, why isn't he a manager? Oh my God. So yeah, Gen Z, the do-nothing generation. That's gonna end up being their name, because where I'm heading, I'm probably gonna end up writing the history book on this shit. Keep on